Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 25th of August. So just a reminder, next Monday is a bank holiday. Aside of that, next week I will not be on the system here doing updates. I'm away for a week, so off to Gay Paris. Well, hopefully just Paris will do. Right, okay, so that's that. Other thing, just on these updates, sometimes they get a little bit long, and I thought of a way of shortening them, because sometimes I'm just going through these. I go through quite a few currency pairs, and there's nothing to show on them. And the simple solution is I've got the apps, either Discord or Telegram. You can contact me on those if you want a particular pair looked at. But otherwise, if there's nothing there when I do my morning review before I speak to you, I won't cover them. So I'm going to really want to thin it down to the currencies that are more likely to be moving. Now, I've started off for a really bad day, so I'll try my best today. But if you've got questions on other pairs, just contact me on Discord or Telegram. If you're not a room member, if you're a room member, you'll get the full rundown anyway, and we'll do the full analysis. But I just want to keep these videos shorter. He's now taken a minute up telling you about how to keep them shorter, so let's get cracking. Firstly, news: we've got the Jackson Hole Summit today. That's the key thing. We'll have some Fed members speaking before Fed Chair Powell speaks himself. Now, whether these guys have got where are they speaking? Due to discuss economic outlook in the interview. So we've got some quite big players, big FOMC members, or Fed members, speaking. Let's say some. It's the same guy actually. He's speaking twice by the looks of it. Yeah, so he's been wheeled out to do the speaking, but it's really Fed Chair Powell that will really more likely move things. But anyway, that really is starting from 2 p.m. I would imagine, and there's so much talk about it, the markets are already settling into a position of defense, risk off, and you'll see that through the currency pairs when we'll run through them in a moment. And the stock indexes are also, indices are falling, so it's a case of a bit of risk off at the moment. So on that note, let's go and have a look at what's going on. We've got Lagarde speaking at 8 p.m. this evening, just to rub things in as well. Where's she speaking in? Has she been invited? She's been invited over there as well. Look, she's over in Jackson Hole. Right, let's get on and look at the markets themselves then. There's not a great deal to look at here. Just some key considerations for running into next week is this strong downward trend on the euro, unless something's said this afternoon which is a game changer. I think we're going to see a continuation in this, and we've got Lagarde speaking later tonight as well. So, or this evening, we could just really. I think we're going to see a continuation in this. It's all set up. It's certainly in a downward trend at the moment. It's properly broken the original upward trend that started way back there in October last year. So that upward trend at the moment is it's been broken before, but it's properly broken now. We've got lower highs coming through. Structurally, it's in a mess. Anyway, looking southbound. Short term today, well, we've already seen as I said, the money coming out here yesterday afternoon. It really started. Looked like it was going to get a usual 2 o'clock bounce. Well, we did, to be fair, but only for it to run back to the pivot and roll over on the euro here. So looking soft at the moment. We haven't hit the daily pivot. There's a reasonable probability of us running down into the S2 today. 75% chance of that. If it's breaking back down, that we could see the continuation. And it may just be a morning of continuations on this. Getting into the trades might be easier said than done sometimes, because personally I like a bit of discount. I want to see a retrace beforehand normally. Some of these are just going. Looking at the pound here, this is really, it's the first time it's managed to break its quarterly pivot here. It's really broken through that quarterly pivot, and well, it's out of drew this range yesterday. Actually, I was doing some drawing. So again, looking forward, I expect to see this, at least this depth of this thing, this thing, this channel to the downside. So there we go. Not necessarily instantly, and we might see something that completely changes things, but generally when it's broken out, could wait for the retest of the underside here. I mean, it is right by its quarterly pivot here as well, so that might be it for the pound, but it's certainly looking soft. So I'll just come back to the down to the hourly here. You see how it's just ridden all the way through yesterday. Couldn't get any gains in there. It seems like a very risk-off market. Right, dollar yen. Even the dollar yen's pushed back up again here. Well, the dollar, it's just the strength of the dollar that's pushed through here. To say it's a safety move. It started coming in early. These safety moves could all change later. So that's why traders are not doing too much. They've just sold what they don't need to keep, probably, or some of it. They're hedging. There'll be all sorts of action going on, which could all get unwound post Powell's speech, only to get wound back up when Lagarde speaks. Anyway, for now, this US dollar yen still pushing to the upside here. Really, I don't have an entry on that at this stage. Maybe post 8 o'clock we'll see something. If it starts rolling back, it's got and seeing some strength coming into here, which when you get risk off, we generally see the yen benefit from it. It could ride its way back southbound towards that pivot, but I get a feeling it's one of those days where we could just see a continuation, slow but a continuation. Aussie dollar here, bigger picture, the dailies here, we've seen this sort of bearish flag. It's yesterday almost about bearish engulfing, but very strong to the downside there, and well, the gains it had made earlier in the week are wiped out and it's now underwater again, and much of a continuation really. I was looking at the different trend lines of what we got on these markets. Aussie dollar wasn't so attractive yesterday, unlike the New Zealand dollar, which I'll come on to in a moment. US dollar CAD, well, just carried on pushing up. That's the picture it is on the dailies. It's coming out of this consolidated phase a little bit in the nervousness running through the markets. Maybe has double topped, but again, we could see a breakout of the top there. New Zealand dollar, quite the opposite. This was absolutely beauty. It came off yesterday and it came off some more. You again see the pattern on the daily, strong down. This is the weakest of the markets, or currencies I should say, weakest of the currencies, and off it sold. And looking, well, it's double bottoming where it's sitting at the moment. Very simple, flaggy sort of pattern there yesterday, and well, it went. Now it'd already gone a long way when I looked at it. I was looking at it, but the safety area was the break of the trend. It could have been taken up here, in terms of there was the lower high sitting up a bit higher, but it then broke down here, which gave another lower high, and off it ran. It was a very simple little trade. This, it's a 2-to-1er, because of the movement, looking for the target of these lows here. It's happened. Very, very simple. Sometimes the most simplest of trades are the best, and a bit of patience waiting through the Asian session, well, it's gone with it. Having seen so much during the daytime there, didn't expect much. Dollar Swissy here, it's again pushing through here, looking to break my trend line. This is one maybe next week I'll have a dial in and see what's happening here. I do think that the dollar is going to benefit further as we go through the year here, and the bigger picture analysis I've been doing, but we'll see. I think it's got more scope. Retail traders will be happy on this. They've been short sorry, long on it for absolute ages. Probably long stops, long stops, long stops, long stops, but maybe they're right this time. To be fair, I thought we'd see something more in this previously, but it is now looking, strength of the dollar could all change, and it could, where it is, it's not far off its trend line and spoil everything. Okay, looking at the cross pairs, I'm only going to look at a couple here. Euro yen, you see what's happening, it's just consolidating on the dailies there. Yesterday inside bar, today currently inside bar. Of course these could change as we go through, but there's a lot of consolidation and movement like this. So this is Euro yen, look at the Euro Aussie is the same. Euro CAD, slight bit more movement in it, but largely the same. Pound Aussie, same-ish. Pound CAD, a little bit more movement in that one. So the CAD pairs have moved a little bit better, but pound yen, same as the euro yen, almost, not too dissimilar. So I'm leaving it there. Right, let's move on. Quick look at the indices, but look at gold first. So gold, it's not gold at all. Let's get gold first. Gold's been pushing up quite nicely. Even gold here, gold's been running and it's been looking like it's been a bit of a safe haven, but even that's rolled back over through the Asian session here and is looking that bit softer at this stage. It's double topped probably with divergence. A break of these lows, the S1 later, could see it coming off further. We'll just see how much reaction comes through these markets. However, beware, because it can be the safety tool at times, but as I say, the yen and the Swissy are both being sold. Let's come back and look at oil now then. So oil catching a bounce eventually. Yesterday it's certainly it's double bottom there. My preference is to be on the long side of this market, but not from here. It needs to prove something a little bit more. Maybe it will start doing so, but it just looks from this 4-hourly picture, lower highs that have been confirmed through here, a significant lower high. We could actually move that across into that point there. There's the trend line going across there. It needs to be back up above there before I'd be considering the long side, although I still think we will move to the upside. Okay, CSI 300 equity markets then. Again, we've seen the sell-off coming through here. It's got key support sitting. There's a quarterly pivot, as you can see, and the monthly S2. So quite a lot of support around where it's sitting at the moment. A break of that is possible though as we go into next week. Maybe even today. No, it won't be today because today's closed. As we go into next week, the Nikkei, well, that's dropped back. It was trying its best, but it's dropped back as a defense sort of mechanism, and quite a big drop at that. That's down 2% on that market. We could see, as we're leading into next week, depending again on this afternoon, we could see a continuation. I would be looking to short on the break of the lows there, putting sell stops in. Maybe if you're trading the futures, you'll catch into something there, but it does look soft. The Nifty 50, again, off at the moment. It's broken the lows there just, which I've been looking at. We could again see a continuation running through today. Could be all changed later, we'll see. Aussie 200 safety there, sold off. Down the E-minis, big day down there, taken away what gain it was making in the week. It's pretty much gone there. Nice technical resistance into its daily 50 there. I'm looking at this quarterly pivot, and it looks like it could be primed for that, maybe even during today before the news. Dow Jones, big bearish engulfing here again. Well, it's already hit the quarterly, but looking like it's heading that way. The Nasdaq, again, and all of these have sort of reacted off their sort of key moving averages, 50 or 34. Again, looking soft at this stage. The DAX, no surprise there to see a similar thing. We're seeing a bit of a bounce at the moment, a little bit of a bounce, but it's a bear flag in my book. So there we go. Maybe looking to break a sell on the underside there. So there's a scope for that. It has got an untouched daily pivot, so I wouldn't look to sell anything before it starts breaking down. It could just be drawn into that pivot. They've got a good probability of being hit, just as the currencies have. Okay, that's pretty much it for me today. The FTSE, just quickly look at that. Actually, it's a 60-minute view of things. I thought that looks... Actually, FTSE not looking quite so bad here. Did have a bit of a down day, but this bounce that it's doing is holding up at the moment. So FTSE outshining its peers at the moment. So it's up the most at this stage. Right, that is that. Finally, I'll quick look through the cryptos here, just to look at the majors. And well, not much happening the whole of this week here. We're just chopping along here on Bitcoin, Ethereum. There's no great difference there. Same old. Chainlink. They all, to me, unless if something isn't particularly pretty in this afternoon, the shape they're doing, they all look, they've got their consolidation near their lows. They could all take a bit of a rock and roll, a tumble. So looking soft there on the crypto world. Right, on that note, I wish you a great weekend, and a long weekend for some of you. Monday, even if I was around, I would not be trading on Monday. Well, I actually am around on Monday, but I wouldn't be trading on Monday because of the bank holiday. It's much quieter volumes through there. And next week, as I say, just a reminder, I won't be around. Have a great week and trade carefully. Bye now.